Kimi K2.5 seems to be the most powerful open source model. Not only that, it seems to be going head to head and better than Gemini 3 suite of models and Claude 4.5 suite of models in a few different categories. It seems to be doing really great at front end development and even having 100 plus swarms. In this video, we're going to be digging into what exactly is Kimi K2.5 and what's all the hype about. Well, Kimi K2.5, they said, is a visual agentic intelligence. They said that today they're announcing Kimi 2.5, the most powerful open source model to date. Kimi K2.5 builds on Kimi K2, which was already pretty good, but continues the pre-training over approximately 15 trillion mixed visual and text tokens. It says built as a native multimodal state-of-the-art model that can even do up to 100 agent swarms at a time. And it's can work parallel across up to 1500 tool calls, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. So that's a huge upgrade from a single agent setup. Let's get down to see how it compares, at least from what they say, with the other models. It seems like when it comes to agents, we see that Kimi 2.5 is 50. This is comparing it to Claude 4.5 Opus, as well as Gemini 3 Pro and Claude 5.2 High. And it seemed to beat all of them when it comes to the HLE Full. Does the same thing when it comes to the browser comp as well. Even beating them when it comes to the deep search Q&A, seeming like Kimi 2.5 seems to be a lot better when it comes to agents than the other models. But what we all want to see here is how well does it compare to coding ability. Sweetbench is a huge benchmark for a lot of these AI models to see. And we see that Kimi 2.5 has a score of 76.8, but we do see that GPT 5.2, Claude 4.5 Opus, and Gemini 3 Pro still kind of beat out Kimi 2.5. Well, besides Gemini 3, when it comes to the Sweetbench verified, meaning that it is a very powerful model coming in a little bit ahead of Gemini 3 Pro, which is impressive, but not beating out Claude 4.5 Opus and ChatGPT 5.2 High. As we know, Claude 4.5 Opus is like one of the most powerful models out there, particularly in coding. So to see that Kimi 2.5 isn't too far away from Claude 4.5 Opus is impressive. But it makes sense that what Claude specializes in is still the leader in general. We also see that it still holds its own even better than ChatGPT in Gemini in the regards to the multilingual Sweetbench. But they did say that this is a visual image, meaning that it seems like it has advanced image capabilities and video capabilities. And we do see that across the different image models here, that it has a huge increase, even beating out Claude 4.5 Opus in the MMU Pro, and in the Math Vision, it's beating out all models besides Gemini. In the Omni Doc Bench, it's actually the best. But that may not necessarily mean anything, because you gotta understand, Claude 4.5 is primarily best at coding. So to see it beat out Claude in visual image isn't that crazy. It doesn't make Claude worse. It just means that there are models that are stronger at different subjects than others, and you should be switching out the model so that each model is kind of what is stronger and best. Even here, we see that in videos. The video MMU has 86.6, which beats out everything besides Gemini 3. And then the long video bench, we see that it beats out everything when it comes to that. Meaning that Kimi K2.5 is on par with Gemini 3 Pro. And think about it, Gemini 3 is owned by Google, which owns YouTube, which I'm pretty sure was trained on a lot of visual, video, image data in order to get here. So that Kimi K2.5 being this high on the rankings for video is actually pretty interesting. Now we see that they talk more about it, about how strong Kimi K2.5 is at coding. It says Kimi K2.5 is the strongest open source model to date for coding, with particularly strong capabilities in front-end development. K2.5 can turn simple conversations to complex front-end interfaces, implementing interactive layouts and rich animations such as scroll triggering effects. Below are examples generated by Kimi K2.5 from a single prompt with ImageGen. Let's check out this first one right here, where this is actually pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive to see that they're able to do these things with a single text prompt. And how they're doing this is by, well, using a single prompt and letting Kimi K2.5 handle the visuals. And this is happening by, if you ever had a website that when you scroll with your mouse kind of down a page, instead of it just being an up and down scroll bar, there's other type of interactions that happen that allow you to make it not just an up and down scroll bar, but a more interactive experience where you see that like the page is shuffling around, images are going left and right instead of going just up and down, which makes it a little bit more interactive and kind of a cooler experience altogether. And these are pretty cool to say the least. To say that Kimi 2.5 is really good at these type of developments, this is to some extent a very advanced front end showing of how well Kimi 2.5 really is. This one's a little bit longer, where you see that they're not only just scrolling, but it's actually navigating throughout a huge museum and everything, which I think this one kind of shows you the real power of it being able to have a different navigation flow to a website than what you see in other models. Where I think Kimi K2.5 may be really good at front-end development. I think maybe even pairing this with a Claude 4.5 Opus, that may be a combination that may need to really try out. Comment down below if you want me to try out that Kimi 2.5 and Claude 4.5 to see how that may work in combination with each other. That may be something. Even with Claude coming out, that may be something even more interesting. But they say even beyond text prompts, K2.5 excels in coding with vision by reasoning over image and videos. K2.5 improves image, video to code generation and visual debugging, lowering the barrier for users to express intent visually. Here's an example of K2.5 reconstruction a website from a video. Let's go ahead and open this up and let's go ahead and watch it. This is absolutely insane to see, because basically what's happening here is that they're sending in a video, and that video they want to make a realistic website for this. So for people who may not have coding experience, this is kind of like doing a wireframe or some type of mock-up, but a more advanced way of doing it is doing it visually through a video, and having that video being turned into a full-blown front-end website is crazy. One thing to note here is that yes, we do see that the front-end website does seem to be working, where they're able to kind of everything, but we don't know how well that looks as far as the code output. We don't know if it's like some type of junky, cluttered code that's making this happen. But regardless of that, it's still impressive to see that this is absolutely working, because working code is a lot of times better than beautiful code that's not working at all, at least in my opinion. This capability stems from massive scale vision text joint and pre-training at scale. So meaning that they've been putting in many reps when it comes to training K2.5 to get here. Here's one where they were able to find the shortest path from the top left corner green dot to the bottom right corner red dot, where black represents the road. And we see that they were able to look at this maze, which is, I guess, a maze. I can't necessarily see a maze in this. This is like dots to me. And they were able to, over the time period, create a map in order to actually get through this entire maze right here and find the shortest path, which is pretty cool to be able to reason visually, which is another element to it, because sometimes explaining things in text takes a while and you have to be very specific. But what they say about images is worth 1,000 words. So having a really detailed image could help you iterate faster when using different AI models, especially when it comes to Kimi K2.5. They also say it excels in real world software engineering tasks. They said they evaluated Kimi Code Bench, their internal coding benchmarks covering diverse end-to-end tasks from building to debugging to refactoring, testing, and scripting across multiple programming language. With benchmarks, Kimi K2.5 shows consistent and meaningful improvement over K2 across task types. So this is their internal benchmark, and we see that K2.5, K2 thinking, and K2.5, which is I guess that September 5th model, and see how 2.5 just outperforms that, even over the K2 thinking, how much growth that is. Not only that, Kimi K2.5 comes with advanced agentic coding capabilities, where you can connect Kimi 2.5 to like your code, your cursor, or whatever IDE that you want. And it seems like they have a demo here of translating the aesthetics of a Matisse dance into a Kimi app, which highlights it being able to reason visually and then turn that into, well, its own different type of, so taking inspirations from art and then turning it into an app. Check it out. Well, it seems like they have the Matisse here in the folder where it has the art styles in the video. And we see now that Kimi 2.5 is, well, going ahead and building. And it seems like they're using this locally because it has the localhost 3000 in that web browser, and it's able to build it. And this took less than 30 seconds to be able to do. So it still is Kimi 2.5, but it had the art-inspired Matisse design onto it. So it's pretty cool, but it's basically showing off, again, more front-end development. But now we actually get to the agentic swarms I talked about earlier, where K2.5 learns to self-direct an agent swarm up to 100 sub-agents. So one AI having 100 agents underneath it, executing in parallel across 1,500 coordinated steps without predefined roles or handcrafted workflows, meaning this is basically not needing N8N and other workflows to accomplish this. K2.5 is autonomously in the backend kind of own workflows or innate flows, but natively within K2.5 to be able to output and get a task done. Here's like some math and the breakthroughs were, here, which is a little bit over my head. Here's a diagram of how like the are delegated and are made and then given tasks where they have like an orchestration to create a sub agent, and then like they like different to do, and then it goes and does it, and then it kind of goes tasks later on for a final result. Basically is my understanding of this. Agent Swarm has an orchestration that dynamically creates specialized sub agents. So these are agents that have like a job of doing something, e.g. like a AI researcher, a physics researcher, fact checker, and decomposes complex tasks into parallel subtasks for efficient distributed execution. Meaning that like since these 100 agents that you can control with K2.5, you can give each 100 of them one task to do. Like, hey, I want you to go and research, looking at a project, and how I have a team, and one team maybe does like another one does the research, another one writes the actual script or something like that, another one checks behind the whole team or something like that. Now these people are all agents, specialized tasks, and that's what's happening here in order to incorporate this. They say K2.5, Agent Swarm improves performance on complex tasks through parallel specialized execution. In internal evaluation, it leads to an 80% reduction to end-to-end runtime while enabling more complex long horizon workloads as shown below. 80% end-to-end runtime reduction means that like I may have took an AI 10 minutes can be done in 2 minutes, meaning that an AI is already like faster humans in most cases. So this reduction is pretty amazing if you ask me. You see the K2.5 Agent Swarm versus Kimi K2.5 versus Claude 4.5 Opus. And it seems like Kimi 2.5 is beating out like everything when it comes to the browse comp, wide search, and in-house bench. Also, keep in mind that these are benchmarks that they're picking that maybe were better than Opus, Claude 4.5 Opus in these use cases. But I'm pretty sure if you look at Claude 4.5 Opus against all the benchmarks, Claude 4.5 Opus is better in all the use case. Execution time to solve tasks of different complexity. As we see here, it's a lot of time savings when it comes to this. Down here are the agent swarms and how they can be used. Here's one right now that has the parallel at scale, showing 100 sub-agents hunting for creators. And this is the actual prompt. It says the task is to identify the top 3 YouTube creators across 100 niches. K2.5 agent swarm first researches and defines each domain and autonomously creates 100 sub-agents to conduct parallel research. Each sub-agent identifies leading creators within its assigned niche, and the results 300 YouTube profiles are aggregated into a structured sheet. And they did this all within like 12 seconds. You see here, they give the task and then boom, spit out 100 different people within a spreadsheet, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Now, I do think that this may cause issues because if they all have 100 individual tasks, which is pretty cool if you ask me, doesn't stop them from, well, maybe having some overlap. So if they're all looking for 100, it may be 75 unique and 25 that are duplicates, because since they're all individualized specific tasks, if they're all 100 of the sub agents are all doing the same sub specialized task, it could cause like overlap. Best to maybe explain to Kimi K2.5 that, hey, I want the 100 agents to have individual tasks, or maybe only a few that has a double checking feature or something like that. Here's another one where it says Kimi team member use K2.5 agent swarm to help their parents recreate a long-held dream from a single wedding photo. K2.5 agent swarm launches 20 parallel sub-agents to generate cultural aligned wedding travel scenes worldwide, assembling them into a interactive web page with assistant identities and attire. Let's check this out. As you see here, this does look like a nice, pretty cool like website from perspective of like, hey, kind of going around the world. I'm not sure if these are all AI generated or these are like actual places they went, but it does look pretty cool, even having this map at the end that highlights like the places they want to go to. It doesn't just stop there. They do have an output scale where you see 100-page literature review from 40 PDFs. It seems like it's already moving, and it only took like 21 seconds. There's a bunch of information being given into Kimi K2.5, but it seemed like the agents are making short work of this and turning it into its own like PDF, which had like a comprehensive paper. Let's look at the prompt that they gave it. They said K2.5 agent swarm decompose a literature review task across 40 social psychological papers into multi-writing focused sub-agents. Each sub-agent is responsible for a specific section of the review, and their outputs are synchronized into a 100-page, 2-column academic document with fully formatted citations and references. That's crazy. So they're not like just 40 pages that they're condensing and then writing their own synthesized and like their own 100-page document, which is crazy. Think about doing that for a paper, having your own paper and then having somebody write that paper for you within like 10-20, which is insane. Here's another example of Kimi K2.5 agent swarm assigns specialized sub-agents to search for, download, and categorize, summarize, and compile Paul Graham's essays. They collectively organize over 200 original essays into 6 topics-based folders and produces a comprehensive summary report with clear citations referencing each original essay. I do like that animation there. And it does this. It takes all that information and then makes its own subfolders with a synopsis and everything. This is crazy. They also have some office productivities where they say that Kimi K2.5 is basically trained to better handle better office tasks. Like they have an AI office bench and a general AI bench, which kind of shows how Kimi K2.5 is better when it comes to, well, office task. And then another one that has really good comparable to just general agent bench activities. So they have a few here where like we see that they're making like a spreadsheet. Then we see another one where they're making like a document, have citations in them, and it's being done within seconds. And then we see another one that's making a PDF from data using like even like ag protection on it. And then also one thing about Kimi K2.5 is that they also are good at making slides and PowerPoints, so they can put together very compelling slides with numbers and everything. Of course, this will probably have to be fact checked, but this is still pretty good to show that this is open source and that this is going head to head with the public. And again, Kimi K2.5 is significantly cheaper when it comes to a lot of the other models. And we see like the full table and how well Kimi K2.5 compares to the other big name brand closed source models. So all in all, Kimi K2.5 is a very powerful model and something that people should check out. I'm thinking about doing a video where I test the limits of how powerful Kimi K2.5 actually is and see how well it actually programs and codes different ideas that I may have in one shot. If you want to keep up with the latest and greatest AI news, you should definitely like and subscribe. With that being said, your boy Dex, not Dexter, out.